The Broken Agenda Podcast. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tequila drinkers will be like, oh, you don't know anything about tequila, or was that the only thing left in your cabinet?
Yeah.
It is amazing how unbelievably snobby tequila drinkers are.
You find that with everyone, though.
What,
You
they
do.
don't like Patron?
Well, no, tequila.
I mean, I like tequila.
It,
Patron doesn't even barely taste like tequila.
no, it doesn't really. It's not a strong flavor. But tequila has become like bourbon, or like scotch, or like wine,
Yep.
where you've developed a subculture of tequila. And those people are nuts. They're all crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
And judgmental. And they're not gonna. I mean, that's an off the shelf mid grade, I guess. I mean, to me, that's about as high grade of tequila as I drink.
I think that's what I keep in the house for Shauna.
Is it?
I think so. The Patron.
It mixes with everything. It tastes great on its own.
What's the high end tequila?
Oh, I don't even know. I mean, Tyler, are we recording? Yeah, we're recording.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah,
Let's start with tequila. So why not? We'll just
tequila.
we'll make this part of the show. All right, so pull up like the top 10 tequilas. Because I don't even know the names of them. Like with scotch, like I can talk a little bit about scotch. Bourbons, I know some of them. I don't know all of them. But the tequilas, like you start getting into some weird stuff. And tequila people will make fun of me for not knowing.
According to
Spirits Expert.
All right, let's see what they have to say. Spirits Expert. All right, so... Yeah, see, I don't even... Best overall is Siete Leguas Reposado.
Reposado. Yeah.
I mean, has anybody heard of that?
Nope.
All right, have anybody heard of any of these?
I've none.
Cimarron Blanco, La Gratona Reposado.
Tapatio.
Does that say Vulcan?
It's like
Vulcan.
I don't know.
D.
Is that one Dragon Bones? Dragon
Rapasato.
Blanco? I don't know what that says.
Rabasato.
I've never heard of any of these.
No, me neither.
All right, can we look up like the top 10 that maybe I've heard of? Like if you write in that maybe I've heard of, does that
How about
change?
the 10 from 10 to 20?
Hold on, no, go back to that last page. Go back to that last page.
Top 100 maybe?
Just
Maybe
out of
we can-
curiosity, how much is the top one? How much does that cost? Like look up the price of best from just that one. Yeah, best overall.
one here?
A bottle of Siete Lago. Not gonna work here anymore.
Total wine and
What is that? Like a thimble for $1,000?
$72
for a 750
72.
milliliter. And what is that? That's about is that a 1.5 liter?
That's a handle. Yeah, that's probably 1.75.
Okay, so that's not too bad. 750 milliliter, $72. That's on the high end, but it's not crazy expensive. I've never even seen that.
I've not really looked at all the tequilas in the liquor store before.
I don't know. My next door neighbor, that dude knows everything about tequila.
No.
I think he chuckles every time I bring. I mean, I know better to never bring Jose Cuervo out like that. He will throw that bottle like on the ground and stomp on its ashes. But when I bring that stuff out, the Patron out, like he chuckles. He'll drink it, but he thinks it's cute.
But what makes it good?
Like, you're adorable, bald boy.
What
And
makes
then-
it good that you can't taste the tequila?
I don't know. Like what makes? I mean, I've had some great
Like-
tequilas in my day. I don't know if they're expensive, but I mean they taste yummy.
So I don't really ever drink it. So
Nothing tastes yummy. It's like a great cigar, you know. Yeah, really, it's a great.
Oh, that's
that-
true. Yeah.
Is that in the category?
No,
of
that's
great?
actually a really great analogy. I think cigars
Like-
still kind of taste like smoking an ass.
I mean,
Interesting.
I just like tequila because of
because you only
tequila.
need 4 to hit the floor.
I like eating the worm.
How long have you been sitting on that one? I like it. No, I'm not judging. I think it's good. Forward hit the floor. There was a drink down in Atlantic City, a buddy of mine, Jim, and he was a big drinker, and he was not even remotely concerned about this drink that they called the Terminator. So he got a Terminator, and I had the Terminator before, so I told him, I was like, don't get more than one. And he's like, well, not all of us are pussies like you, Craig. And I said, that stings. And he got another Terminator, and then I did not get another Terminator because I knew what the Terminator does. And then he got a third Terminator. And a Terminator is like the size of this. Like, and for those of you that are listening, not watching, I'm holding Tyler's, what is it, like a 32 ounce?
It's 32 ounce. Yeah.
32 ounce tumbler or whatever it needs. It's like the size of that, like a 32 ounce all liquor drink. It's like a light blue, nothing but liquor. It's made of like rum and all sorts of crazy stuff. And he has 3 of these things.
Oh shit.
Totally unfazed. Like at this point, I'm starting to think maybe he's right. maybe I am the problem. Like, should I be drinking more Terminators? Like, I was scared to have a second one. And he's like, I got to take a leak. Stands up, immediately falls face first onto the floor. Does not wake up for 2 hours. And he broke his nose. It wasn't like he felt like he was bleeding all over the place. Security comes over, picks him up, walks him out. Like, they're like, this has happened before. And just, I've never seen anything like it. He's like, I feel good. Stands up and just goes, and he's done. It was amazing.
Wow.
So even to this day, that was probably like 20 years ago. He'll be like, goddamn Terminators.
We used to have a drink back in the day called Agent Orange. Did you ever have that? You ever hear that? That was a big tumbler that they would mix up at the bar, and it was all straight liquor. But came out orange and tasted like, I don't know what it was, but I don't think there was any mixers in it.
Oh, my liquor days are so past me. I know you love bourbon.
Yeah, I love bourbon whiskey and all that. Yeah,
I can't do it.
We didn't drink the tumblers. We like dump shots out of it.
Oh, okay,
You know what I
gotcha.
mean? It wasn't made for drinking the tumbler.
Well, fair enough.
Maybe the Terminator is a community shot tumbler.
We had a goal when I was in my early 20s. We used to go to bars, and we had a standing $100 bet. Whoever could pull it off would get the $100. Everybody had to pay that one person $100, and that was to get the bartender to give us a pitcher of tequila, so we could serve out our own tequila drinks. And of course they always say no. They're like, "We'll just take a pitcher of tequila." And one time we're at Legends over in Muhlenberg, and they knew us there. We had a picture on the wall. It's not healthy, but it happened. And my buddy goes, they're like, "Do you need anything else?" And he's like, "I think we're pretty good. We'll just take a pitcher of tequila." Right? And it was a new waitress, and she goes, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll bring it right up." And we're all like, what's going on? Is this going to happen? We're like, did you just win like $500? Right? So we're watching her like a hawk out of the corner of our eye because we don't want to tip her off. She goes over, she puts some ice into a shaker. She pours a whole bunch of tequila in. Like, she shakes it up. She's coming out from behind the bar to bring it over to our table, and we're vibrating. We're so excited. And the owner comes flying out of the back. He's like, no. He's like tackled her. He's like, do not give them. He's like, God damn it. We should have warned her. He's like, they always try with a pitcher of tequila. This close. We were this close. We almost achieved glory. So, all right. So anyway, tequila is not the topic of the show, but that's good. We learned something. At least it's not as expensive as I thought it would be. That's kind of interesting.
I was thinking it was going to be a $300-400 bottle of tequila there.
I kind of assumed it would be something ridiculous like that, too.
I'm sure that exists, though. That's just like the whiskey world. You can get a good bottle that's $30 or spend $400 on a...
Is it worth it? Because here's the thing. Like, you guys have seen that fashion practical joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they set up that fake super high-end shoe store in L.A.
Yeah.
And they put all Payless shoes in it. And they invited a whole bunch of high-end fashion people. And they were selling $35 sneakers for like $800 and interviewing these people. And they were like, oh, you can tell by the stitching that it's super high quality. And they were like, all this other stuff. And at the end, they'd tell them, they're like, all right, just so you know, everything in this store is Payless. But it was all branded out. Like, everything was crystal. And they built a brand, a super high-end brand.
That's shocking.
So how much of that is bourbon?
So it's a lot. And that's where I always try to be cautious. So one thing in the bourbon world, there's a lot of white labeling going on. So there's big distilleries out like in the Midwest that you and me wanted to start a bourbon company. We just call up, get some barrels sent to us, as long as we have the licensing. But
so we just have to build the brand.
Build the brand. Yeah, essentially get the permits proper from the Liquor Control Board. And we can just go out, sample some barrels, and then hand blend them here. But that happens a lot. A lot of these new brands you're seeing come out, but some of them are selling for $200, $250 a bottle, and it's just someone else's distillate.
Jeez, they probably spend more time designing the bottle than they do actually working on the bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah, there are some that are like highly coveted. There's a distillery up. It's called Buffalo Trace Distillery, but they're selling some of their bottles for $30. But people are waiting. Like, it'll get released online and they'll be going, like 600 will be going in a second.
Wow.
Because I think I heard about that Buffalo Trace.
Should they raise their price then?
No, because they have other brands. So like Buffalo Trace, which is a $30 bottle of liquor, but then they also have Stag, which is a higher end, aged a little bit longer type stuff. A lot of it comes into the aging and stuff.
They all animals.
Well, it's George T. Stagg.
Oh, I don't know. I thought maybe
he was
their
no, but you're right. Yeah. No, he was the original owner of the.
Oh, okay.
But it's just marketing. A lot of it.
I mean, isn't that almost everything is just marketing?
I think everything is marketing.
Well, you're a big marketing guy.
Everything
That's been
that's
your big
anything.
push over the last 2 years, and yeah, I think you're right. It's in this world, everything's marketing. Because I don't know that I could tell. Everything's such high quality or low quality, depending on how you look at it. I can't tell the difference between anything.
Yeah.
I mean, even with my wine, like I'm a huge wine guy anymore.
It's just like people they just get it, they just get in people's heads, and then you're like, oh man, you have a $1,000 bottle of wine or liquor, and you're just like, oh my god, that's smooth. Oh my god, that's great.
And
That's
almost
the best
every
thing
single
I ever
time,
drank.
there are legit people out there, legit people out there. But 9 times out of 10, I don't care who the hell they say they are. If you blindfold them or pour it out and don't show them the bottle, they don't know what they're drinking.
Nope.
They have no idea what they're drinking, and they won't be able to tell which one is the expensive and which one is the cheap. They do that with like self-proclaimed sommeliers all the time, or tier level 1 sommeliers that did some training but didn't follow it all the way through. They'll pour 5 glasses of wine out, and they'll even tell them, be like, these are the 5, not types. Like I'm not a sommelier. I can pick out a Pinot Noir versus a Cabernet, but they'll pour out 5 bottles of Cabernet Sauvignon and be like, tell us what you're drinking. They're not even close.
Nothing.
I see them all the time with whiskey, bourbon.
Yeah.
They're like, they have no idea. So beer, all the time with beer. Like these people that are like, I only drink Coors Light, and then they put like 10 beers in a box. They can't figure out which one's Coors Light.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
The silver bullet.
It's silver black. They're all, everything's homogenized. It's insane.
Yeah. People got money to spend though, so they're spending it. I think the most expensive bottle I have is $80, and that's from a place down in Philly. That it's their own distillate. It's a 6-year rye whiskey. It's delicious.
I don't have anything that expensive. I have a couple of $200 bottles of wine.
Yeah.
I know, when do you drink a $200 bottle of wine? What is the appropriate time to crack open a bottle of wine?
Anniversary.
But my wife won't appreciate it.
Your old friend.
Like
you
if I had
didn't
a
see
wine
for 10
drinking
years.
wife, that would be one thing, but I don't.
You save it for your funeral so everyone else can enjoy it?
No. Incorrect. Try again. That's the wrong answer.
You just drink it with dinner.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like I might just one day just be like, I'm having a $200 bottle of wine. I'm going to drink it myself.
Yeah, you drink it on a whim. Like, oh.
Well, I know some wine people, but most of them I don't like.
By yourself.
So I don't want to give them a good wine. I know one guy that I like, I respect, and I think would appreciate it. So what, I just hold on to my good stuff for when I hang out with that one guy? Like, is the only guy I can think of? Like, because you wouldn't. You don't like wine.
I hate wine.
No, I
Like,
think
it'd be an absolute waste to give it to you.
Yeah.
No.
Drink it during Christmas when the fire's going in the
Just
fireplace.
by myself.
And it's snowing heavy outside.
See, this is going to sound messed up.
And your kid's away, and it's you and your wife.
My kid's never away. My nickname for our kid is Cockblocker. Okay, like the ultimate cockblocker. Like anytime I go to make a move, she's just there. And it's not like she's 3. Like she's 10 years old. Like she has a decade of training behind her cockblockness.
She's protecting her mother.
You think they're working on it together? My wife's like, keep his hands off me. I need your help, daughter. Only together can we do this. So,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know if a kid-free Christmas is in my future. But I do like the idea of just sitting down and drink. Problem is, my wife will want to try some. I don't think I want to waste it on her. Is that wrong? I feel like that's wrong.
That's probably a matter of opinion.
Because I'm 100% sure she won't like it. I know she won't like it.
Depends who you ask.
She'll be like, "Oh, this is gross," and then I'll be like, "Well, can you like spit it back up?" Because
We could get
Very expensive.
those
drink.
3 sips was like $45.
get Lisa Marie down here and ask her.
No, she'll tell you. This is what she will say. She will say it is
You'll go for
100%
it.
wasted on me, but she will 100% have a glass of wine just to watch me fidget. As she says, this isn't very good.
When you go to get that bottle of wine, it's going to be empty. The empty bottle will be sitting there.
No, she knows better than that. She would never.
Really?
That would start a war the likes of which no one can win.
Man,
We both know where the lines are.
I think maybe me and Tyler should drink that bottle.
You can have it yourself, man.
It's behind
I hate wine.
behind a 3-inch thick oak door with a fingerprint biometric lock on it. Good luck. And an alarm that goes off if you open the door without my permission.
Oh, you're serious about your wine, huh?
Well, I've got guns in that room too. So, gotta keep the kids away from that stuff. So,
All right, tequila, wine, and smart cities.
all right. So yeah, this is the same thing that happened. Do we not want to talk about smart cities? Is that what's going on? Because we cannot.
Yeah.
All right. How far? All right. So we still got time. Let's get into this. Let's start this because I have a feeling this is going to take both sections of this episode. You did a ton of research, Jimmy. Where do you want to start?
Well,
Because
I
we
don't know. I
started
guess the
last
gen-
week.
yeah. I mean, I kind of just started I started with what's the definition of smart cities, and it's kind of looked around at what's the plan, what's the agenda, what are they trying to accomplish?
Well,
And then I started looking at where are because they have cities mapped out across the globe right now, like volunteer. They're sort of like prototype test cities that are, and I think each city sort of taken I think every city's looking at autonomous vehicles and stuff like that, but I think each city sort of has a different starting point. I mean, they've got guidelines to follow, but I wanted to see what was in the U.S. and I found some things going on that actually aren't, that people are just creating, which I thought was pretty.
Look, there's
pretty
a lot
cool.
of things about smart cities that are to be encouraged. Like there's some good ideas. Like anything else, it's a mixture of good ideas and terrible concepts altogether. I will say I'm shocked about this concept of diversity, equity, and inclusion coming into all of these smart city concepts. Like it doesn't seem like it. It seems like more of an agenda than anything else when you start putting buzz terms in, because a smart city by its very nature is designed to be like planned communities. But that when I read these websites, that's not what I see. I see more of this what's the right term for it? Like these buzz terms, this lib speak, like this stuff that you're seeing that nobody talks like that, but like these are like the corporate used to be synergy and connectitude and all this other stuff. Now it's this diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff, and I don't know how that plays into smart cities.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's like buzzwords, right? You know? And I think it's buzzwords to make people feel comfortable with it.
It's the latest marketing.
See, I don't think it has anything to do with people. I think it has everything to do with making the World Economic Forum feel comfortable with their ideas, because those are buzz terms for the WEF. And if they put them right up on their homepage, WEF be like, oh, these guys might be good people to partner with. Because even some of those websites you just pulled up, I bet at least one or two of them have it right on their homepage.
Well, the World Economic Forum has a roadmap.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's
and
what the
they
page
have,
we're on right now is the
yeah.
WEF.
So they have.
Which
yes.
I know I said it last episode. I'm just going to say it again real quick. The World Economic Forum will be the end of the world. They're the most horrible organization ever created. Okay, good. Go ahead. Sorry. I want to make sure that's clear.
So they have basically they've come up with categories of, like I sent you a chart.
Oh, there it is. Equity, inclusivity, and social impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there we go. We've got the buzz terms on the WEF page.
Yeah, so this is where this is the core, and then anybody who's looking to do a smart city, I think, is just kind of using these, using this guide as the foundation of how they're planning. And then they have a more in-depth chart here where there's I don't know how many.
Is it the
it's that
beehive
thing.
one? This
Yeah.
one?
So what are the coolest aspects of smart cities that you found when you were doing your research?
I mean, it's like a. I just think, in some ways, they seem pretty cool.
They're pretty cool.
I think that it's just like any kind of piece of tech. They're just trying to make a city a piece of tech, and I think, if things aren't being used the wrong way, then it's pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool to go into a city. Your phone picks you up, logs you who you are, everybody that's around there. It's sort of monitoring. It's a safe place, right? Then there's all the interaction you can do, everything you'll do in the city. You almost don't have to do anything because everything is just snapping. You know, you're jumping on a train, you're jumping on this whatever excursion or this or that. You know, so I don't know. You go in your house, you know, your doors open automatically, your car doors, your car detects you and starts, you know. I mean, it's all a cool concept.
Have you read 1984 or Brave New World?
I didn't read it, but I...
Holy shit, because that is the most dystopian thing I think anyone's ever said.
Yeah, it never ends well.
No. Like, it all sounds great, and everybody's like, yes, let's do that. And then all of a sudden, somebody's like, now I have the power.
The mental image of socialism is Star Trek. The reality is East Berlin.
Yeah, exactly.
Or,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, you get the wrong person at the top. They've just...
You always get the wrong person at the top.
You always do, yeah, because that's who's attracted to that type of position.
Yeah, unlimited ultimate power with all the money in the world. That's a sociopath.
Every ounce of data they could possibly have.
No normal
everything you
human
do.
wants that. It's like, we're like, I don't want that responsibility. I just want to take care of my family.
Yeah.
Like,
Holy sh...
well, I'm a serial killer. I'd love to do that. Yeah. That's exactly how these things work out.
I think if you could go to a smart city for a vacate, I think it's going to be a
No, I agree.
very popular.
I
mean,
agree.
like Dubai is one of the big cities that's going.
I mean, think about it this way: you've got a wildly historical site. Let's say I don't know, Boston, and you're going to go to Boston for the weekend, and you pull up the Smart City app, and you register your phones with the city, and you tell it all the things you want to do. And as you're walking around the city, it pops up and says, hey, if you hop on this train right now and get off on this stop on the Orange Line, you will be at the Tea Party Museum, and guaranteed 20 minutes from now, the line will be zero and you'll be able to get right in and see your exhibit. Like, because it's monitoring all the people that are at all the different museums and forecasting who's going to be where, and even driving people away from some areas to drive other people to it based on location and geography and everything else. And it's basically hurting humans, but in a way that allows you to get things done.
Flowing traffic. It's like
traffic,
controlling traffic.
I mean, I've noticed Google's been doing that heavily lately. I don't know if you guys use Google as a GPS. What do you use for GPS?
A GPS. Like a
Garmin?
A Garmin, yeah. It's
Really?
sitting on my dash right now, yeah.
How's it? Can you see me from 1994? Like,
Do you still? Do they
it's
still?
like you're a real person.
It's
do
more
they
than...
still? Can they still update the maps?
Yeah, I just did.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're
I
all.
only bought it like 2 years
They're all
ago.
in black and white, though. Other than that, it's fine. Well, okay, so not all of us are that fancy. For those of us that are stuck using our phone, I have noticed that Google has been sending me on some wild back roads.
Just because of traffic and...
It's preemptively redirecting traffic to prevent backlogs. And this is only going to get more common. It's going to be watching, and it works for Google. It'll work for Tesla because they have so many subscribers, they can figure out the traffic patterns before they happen. And let's be fair, most behavioral patterns, very easy to predict. Like shockingly easy to predict.
Yeah, we're not as unique as we think you are.
God, no. Especially not in groups.
No.
Group behavior is about as consistent as you can possibly get. So...
Yeah, I found they're building these like Connexes, right? You know what a Connex is? Like a mini storage, like a portable storage unit.
No, I don't know what that is.
Like a pod?
Yeah, like
I know what a pod is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We call them Connexes in the military. So,
I learned something new. I
sorry.
like this.
So I found this one where they're actually building them to be like gardens, like indoor gardens.
Okay.
Right. So
They got like Vitalites in there, and
yeah, so you can grow all kind of organic food in there and stuff, plants, whatever.
why?
Suppose weed.
Why are we doing that?
Well, I think that's like part of like when you look at a smart city and you think about how intricate can it get, where you have like automated food growing,
Oh, gotcha.
production plants where they're like on time levels and
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So it's so crazy what they're trying to do, like all these pieces that they
Yeah,
wanna
well, a
put
lot of
together.
that has to do with shipping. If you can grow your
Yeah.
food in the city, you don't
Yeah.
have to ship across the country to
Yeah.
the city.
And then you have just like food pods or whatever, and they're just continually farming.
And again, I don't specifically have a problem with that.
I think it'd be neat, if you did it at your own house and like it wasn't somebody else
It'd be
like
neat if it was automated and I don't have to do it. I'm
in
not a
control
farmer.
of it.
Like farmers are way more gifted than I am. I kill everything I try to grow. Like it's never going to work. Like I can feed myself with a rifle. I can't feed myself with a spade. I can't do it. I don't know. Should that be a T-shirt?
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how meat fits into the smart city.
They're trying to abolish meat actively.
Yeah.
So I would say that is the whole
Wildlife.
role. That's the whole role of the lab grown meat that you're seeing the big push for. Is you can lab grow the meat in the city, probably in the pods right next to the lima bean pod, and there you go, done meat. Didn't we talk about lab grown meat on the show?
Yeah, we had a whole episode
We had
about
a
it.
meat episode.
No,
Or we went off on a tangent.
it's always a tangent. Now it's either going to be lab grown meat or it's going to be beyond meat, like some sort
The
of.
mushroom hybrid vegetarian stuff. Yeah.
Have you tried that yet?
No.
Have you? It's not terrible.
Still.
I don't.
It's the principle of it.
Oh no, I'm against it, but I tried it because I like stuff, and it was new stuff. I like new stuff. It's my favorite type of stuff. So it was not as horrible as I thought it would be. I mean, knowing that the blood was beet juice was a little unnerving, but I don't know why that's any more unnerving than the blood being actual blood. Like that's I mean, I don't know.
They put fake blood juice in it.
Yeah, and they make it out of beet juice, so it looks like the burger's bleeding.
Wow,
Like it's rare.
like it's juicy.
I kid you not. The texture is actually pretty solid too. Now look, this is definitely not a direction I want to go in, but it was not as horrible as you would think it would be.
If you could
Why are
wipe
you laughing? I'm trying to talk to you.
No, it's sounds like you're converted.
I think if you
Oh
could
Christ! Don't do that. Now you're getting all defensive.
Get him some peace signs and
Oh
flowers.
shit! Here we go.
I think if you could just wipe away the fact that you have to ask questions of what is the end like goal for the powers that be, you could get on board with this stuff and think, you could enjoy the thoughts and the ideas.
Yeah, I mean, on the surface, I don't have a problem with any of this stuff, but it's under the surface that I have a problem. Like, I really don't care about cricket flour. I'd eat it. I've eaten crickets.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
What I care about is that one, it's being forced on me, and two, much like with the lab grown meat, I don't know what they're doing to this stuff.
Exactly.
I don't like the control that's exerted over my food. I live relatively close to the country, as do you guys. And I know the guy that's raising the animal that I'm eating. Like, I buy from a butcher. I buy at farmer stands that are growing the food on farms. There's not a lot of secrets going on with the food I'm buying. It's all pretty much, it's Charlie's farm. and I know Charlie. It's cool. I don't know, the lab stuff, especially after COVID and seeing all the baloney with the mRNA treatments and all the stuff going on, with the manufactured solutions and everything else. That's my problem. Lab grown meat, fundamentally, no problem. I understand how it works. I don't really have an issue with it. I do have an issue with people growing my meat.
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Well, what if is the lab grown meat like when they figure out how to clone animals?
No.
Are they cloning actual meat?
No. What they're doing
Of
is
an animal?
they're taking
Vegetables.
No, they're taking stem cells. They're triggering them to grow as muscle tissue, and then they're
Stem cells from.
the animal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe if we want venison, they're gonna find some deer. They're gonna extract stem cells from the deer. They are going to replicate. They're going to continually reproduce the stem cells to make their own supply. So the good/bad of this is once they have a good, solid, genetic genome for the type of meat they want to grow, they're just going to keep growing the same meat. The problem with that is as soon as a virus or a bacteria decides it figures out the genome for that meat, you have a mass infection situation. And we've seen this before in the food supply, where but that's not the problem. The problem is, what are they doing to it? Why fight with people about medical treatments if you can just grow it into their meat?
Exactly.
I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why ask them if they want to get trackers, GPS trackers, and if you just put it in their meat?
Well, you can put it in food, like other food supplies. I mean, you have.
Not if you buy it from Charlie. I know Charlie. Charlie's not letting anybody on his ground. Not without a shotgun blast. Charlie don't mess around.
Well, not all meat is from Charlie, right? So even, meat that's mass produced.
No, you're right.
Tyson chicken.
You're right. We might already
They're
be
pumping.
at that point.
They're pumping steroids into their meat to make those birds.
Yeah.
They're 3 times bigger than like what a normal chicken used to be.
No, you're right. You're right. And part of the reason I guess why I trust that a little bit more is because there's the liability on Tyson's side for doing this, subverting the knowledge of their customers in doing this. Mm-hmm. So there's an inherent resistance there for a private company to do something that might completely ostracize them from everybody that would buy their product. Whereas if you have government-funded, government-sponsored, and government-employed labs that now control your meat supply, they're going to do whatever the government says because that's their real customer. You're not the customer.
Yep.
So as long as the food supply is relatively independent, I will still trust it relatively. Not implicitly, but to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Well, back to smart cities.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far off because we were talking about producing meat in a city. So, all right. So what else? So here's something I heard about. Go ahead.
Like some of the things that I was looking at, like in Dubai, what they're making these like smart streets signs, right? So it's like a street post, and it'll have screens on it that are gonna have directions and different things like like the lights themselves, like whatever. Like say you're walking down the city and like you can fade all the lights to a dim mode, and as somebody's walking down through the city, as they walk, the lights increase and then decrease as they go away. There's a lot of really cool things. Smart benches I saw. I don't know what the smart benches are. In that one pamphlet that I attached the 3 things were interesting to me. But they showed these benches like you automatically charge like your phone, so they're making like smart furniture, smart things to outfit the city that I don't know, it's really interesting. I get the concept as being intriguing if I could just remove the fact that the global elite want to control us.
So your problem is the Big Brother aspect.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be collecting data, right? So even if you roll up to a city, right, a smart city, like it's literally going to extract everything about you and download it into the city. And then the big question is what's going to happen with that data? And what, now you're at the city, now that city knows everything about you, what your interests are, right? So now when it's navigating you around the city, it's going to pick out all the things that you might like, right? I mean, it's the same thing as like ad tracking on Google and stuff like that. I mean, it could be like a really cool experience, as a vacation spot to visit. But
so what do you think, Tyler? Because we're going to have to talk about this in the back end because we didn't cover enough.
I mean, it all sounds great, but I also realize that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right?
So true.
Even from a corporate commercial perspective, it just sounds dystopian to me. And
what would be your primary concerns?
Somebody knowing every single thing about me. Like you can't walk down a street without somebody knowing what street you're on. Like why you no longer have freedom of movement, really. I mean, you do, but somebody always knows where you're at. Like right now, I could drop my phone, put it down, and that phone's going to stay there, and then I could move. I could walk around. You're not going to know me unless I'm walking past.
Now, how does it track you without your phone?
Well, I'm sure.
Well, that smart pole thing I had there
is going to be using facial recognition.
Yeah,
CCT cameras. I know, like if you go to Lancaster City, they have CCT on quite a few streets, and facial recognition is being implemented. Like that's, I don't know, that's concerning to me.
What is it that, so let's talk about like why are we so anti-facial recognition? Like, I guess why? Who wants to answer that first?
I don't know. I feel like there's no privacy. I want to think that I have the freedom of movement, that I could pick up, go somewhere else, and just be anonymous if I wanted to.
In case you're somewhere where someone else doesn't agree you should be, like that you can be marked like that.
I don't know. Like you see it, Madison Square Garden. They implemented facial recognition, and the owner of Madison Square Garden was using that to keep people out because he didn't. Like some lawyers that were suing him, he didn't let them come to a concert because of facial recognition. So you piss somebody off, they can keep you away from doing something you like, right? The Phillies are implementing facial recognition to scan your tickets. I don't know. I'm the guy who goes to an amusement park and they ask you if they can have my fingerprint for a ticket, and I say no.
I do too.
There's no way. It's the same thing giving your DNA up to figure out if you're 10% German, right? Who gives a shit?
No.
Like, you're an American if you're here, right?
I'm German. I can say it's in my last names.
Well, I know what.
But who cares?
Grandparents.
You're not German. You're American.
You're American, right?
Hell, you served in the military. You're definitely American.
Like, it all just feels
It's
like.
neat to know, I guess. People want to know because they want to try to connect back to somebody important.
But what are you gonna do? Oh, cool! I got 5% German in me. I'm gonna go visit the homeland. You gonna send your fingers, right?
Which, when you say it about Germany, sounds shockingly disturbing.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Like the Liederschneifer. You got to say it the right way. Like, I don't even know if that's a word, but no, I hear you. So you think it's just one more invasion of privacy to slowly erode your personal rights?
Exactly, right? And that's what it usually ends up being.
You know, one thing I'd like facial recognition for? To bust people who throw trash on the ground.
Yeah, but
Look,
even still.
again, path of good intentions. Like, I could think of a lot of reasons why facial recognition is positive, but that's not the point. The point is it only has to be misused once, and I'm done. I'm out. And it will be. It'll be misused. It's already been misused. I've seen stories of it being misused, and it's barely even been implemented. So mass implementation will lead to mass misuse.
You have some examples?
No, because I didn't know our
misuse?
conversation was going to go this direction, but I've seen news stories over the years where you've got security personnel in cities that are stalking girlfriends. You've got people that are. There was one. God, I wish I could remember the story or find it. There was one where the police were using it.
That's down in Florida.
Was that in Florida?
Yeah, is it where they're using analytics to preemptively?
Yes.
Because they were most likely to commit a crime based on their socioeconomic status and their streets they lived on. They were going out and trying to essentially catch these people doing something wrong.
So they're just following them on cameras, waiting for them to do something wrong.
Yeah.
Which, forget for a moment that that's basically entrapment.
It's
not.
It's not.
It's not entrapment, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, assumption of innocence requires a benefit of the doubt.
Exactly.
Assuming they're going to be guilty and then just continually monitoring them until they are. And I don't know, maybe this is the equivalent of assault, because the definition of assault is if I lean out a window and point a gun at somebody, but they never know, I didn't assault them. But if they look over and see me doing it, I assaulted them. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, maybe if they never know I'm following them on camera, it probably never impacted their decisions. I can see the argument going both ways, but at the end of the day, they have a right to privacy. Now, the counter argument is so do their victims. So what did they do? Did they rape somebody? Well, maybe if we caught them as they were starting to do it, we could stop them. I don't know. But
yeah, but that goes back to you're trading. What is it, Ben Franklin? You're trading a little bit of
for safety.
Safety.
You're trading liberty for safety.
Liberty for safety, right? So you're going to track every single person in the whatever percent chance that they're going to commit some sort of crime just to get that one person.
Let me be very clear. I agree with you.
Yeah, no, I know. But
okay.
It's you got to make sure that's clear because people are like, you know what, that does make sense. I'm okay giving up my liberty so that you can stop that one person from committing that one crime.
Well, and let's put this in a way then, fine. So we got a bunch of people that are watching this going, they just sound like a couple of paranoid kooks, right? So let's put this in a way that should terrify the crap out of everyone. Deep fakes are the fastest growing form of AI right now on the internet. Taking people's faces and putting them on other people's faces. Mm-hmm. So when they have video of every single thing all of us are doing and somebody doesn't like you, how hard would it be to swap a face and make it look like you did whatever that guy they've been following around for the last 2 months waiting for him to do something did?
Yep.
I mean, this is going to be a very, very real problem. And you don't even have to have somebody's fingerprints on it. You could have the AI just be like, hey, as soon as you find a crime that fits the bill, and you know that the guy we're looking for is not anywhere where there's a witness, Just put his face on it and make it happen. Like there is definitely a way that the misuse of this has no end.
Right. And as long as you keep human emotion involved in it, you're going to get that result.
Human emotion is the bane of our existence at this point. Never thought I'd say that.
Tribal, I mean, think about it. Tribal, the way we're such a tribal society anymore.
Yep.
You piss somebody off that's outside of your tribe, and they have the power to fuck your life, they're going to.
Yeah, depending on how big their tribe is.
Right, yeah.
And now it's just a big old game of Survivor.
Yep.
And eventually somebody that doesn't like you, Jimmy, will have control over that. Well, it's not on the screen. But on the screen, there's stuff.
Yeah, that stuff there.
There you go.
Put it back up, yeah.
Everybody likes me.
So I'm not even sure I like you, and I co-host a show with you. So that can't be true.
I absolutely think this stuff is awesome. I think it would be cool. It's cool tech.
It is
but
cool
at
tech.
the same time,
We
I don't really give a shit if it's going to the way the dominoes will most likely fall. It's not worth it. It's not worth the trade-off.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the moment when I realized that I did not like this was that I've had exactly one traffic citation in the last 20 years. And it was by a camera that I got stuck in an intersection and the light turned red but the traffic wouldn't stop. And then I finally was able to go, and I went and the traffic light was red, and it sent me a ticket with a picture of me in the intersection with the light red. There was nothing I could have done, and there was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
Like they said, you can't argue this is a picture.
Yeah.
I was like, but I didn't do anything wrong. And they're like, picture says you did.
Yep.
Did you have a picture saying you didn't? I'm like, no, I don't have a picture saying I didn't. And they're like, well, pay the fine.
Well,
you're
why don't you send me a picture with the light green and show me that I'm not sitting there?
So,
Or show, because you could have
what in the world is their incentive to do my work for me?
You
Yeah,
could
exactly.
They're not going to look up things that are going to cause them not to get they just want me to go away.
They should have been able to see the picture, the previous screen where it was like you were sitting there with the light green.
But they're
Well, no,
not.
whatever.
They're not
I guess
looking
it
at
snaps a
that.
picture.
They don't
when the
care.
lights are-
The problem is I care, they don't. So now it becomes about who's incentivized to actually care,
Exactly. The burden of proof is on you.
And then
Yep.
what? Okay, so
which
then,
means you're not assumed innocent.
Right.
then one of the big questions with this stuff is what happens with the data that's recorded. You know, who has access to it?
If today is any
using it?
indication, every single bit of it is saved, and none of it is shared with anybody except for companies that are willing to pay for it and governments that are going to use it. That's how it's going right now, and we don't have nearly the data we're going to have when we have this stuff.
The second the government was able to get their hands on data, and we saw it with Snowden, they started taking it. They started spying on U.S. citizens.
Yep,
Second they could.
absolutely. Day one.
check out the bench. Let's see what the bench is.
Well, we got to go. We're at the end of this part, so let's not. Let's wrap this thing up. I think this is a good conversation. We got a little paranoid, rightly so, because the government's always watching. But I think we're going to jump back into this in the backside, and I think we should jump into the bench. I think we should get into some of AI's involvement in this, because we've brought AI up in the previous episode. I think we need to hit it again hard, because it's going to matter. Mm-hmm. And I think we should really jump into what you can expect. Like, what are these smart cities going to end up looking like, and the benefits, cost benefit. Like, because I think you seem to be on board. I want to get into that a little bit more. So, and don't answer that now. I want you to start with that. So. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back for part 2. Yeah, we're going to hit some more smart cities. And what was the other part we wanted to get into?
The climate thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because a lot of this is... Okay, let's get into the climate thing, too. So, all right, climate and smart cities, part 2. We'll be back.
Right.
And thanks, everybody, for joining us. Have a great one.
See you soon.
The Broken Agenda Podcast. Sponsored by Laughing Rock Technology.